Hi, I'm Kevin,
And I'm Amanda.
and we are serving up.
All that jam.
All That Jam, Quick Hit. Isaac Hadden Organ Trio Origin Story.
How you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. I just came in from Virginia like literally 10 minutes ago, so still getting settled, but I'm doing good.
Right, very nice. What you were playing a festival or?
Yeah, I had like it was kind of like a little solo run this weekend, so I played at a little festival up in Concord, Virginia, and then I played like a private event, and then ended up opening for the Anders Osborne duo that's been touring around at
Right.
this place called the Dog Bowl in Roanoke, Virginia.
Nice, nice. So, how did you get hooked up with Anders? I love that he is so one of my favorites from way
Man,
back.
so yeah, I love him too, man. I've been a huge fan of his for a long time. But so my buddy Tyler Godsey runs 5 Points Music Sanctuary in Roanoke, and he's just been like a big kind of help in moving things forward in my career over time. So they were, I guess, looking for a support act for the show, and he called me like literally like a week and a half ago, and we made it happen.
There you go. Very nice. All right, so I want to make sure I get this right. You have two separate projects, right? The organ trio, and then you also have another band that's a big band.
The trio is kind of my newest thing. We just released an album. That's we've been touring just like up and down the East Coast pretty actively for the past like year and a half. And then I also have the Isaac Hadden Project, which was actually my first band of some guys in Southwest Virginia, and they're like my older brothers, and we try to stay as active as we can.
Okay, very nice. Now, why are you calling it an organ trio when you're the guitar player?
Well, yeah, so I'm not the organ player. A lot of people get that wrong. They're like, "Oh, Isaac, you know how to play organ now," but don't nobody want to hear that. It's I just always really dug kind of the organ trio format. I think it's a cool way to create a lot of sound with kind of a small footprint. So I had been kind of experimenting with that around Asheville, and I had linked up with Bill Stevens, who's the organ player, through a show we did together in 2020. It was like a live streaming show at Rooster Walk, and I just loved the way that he played the organ, so I called him, and then he is really tight with our drummer Iaji, so he was like, "Hey, I've got this band going. You want to join?" So that was kind of how that got started. But it's just the first thing we came up with as a name, but it does kind of abbreviate nicely into iHot. So that was kind of
Right.
it was easy branding for us.
Right. And the drummer's last name is Hampton.
Iaji Hampton. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Now, you said you had an album out. And there's some guests. You're tight with Snarky Puppy there, huh?
Man, I feel so grateful that we were able to get a hold of those guys. But yeah, we have Chris Bullock and Bob Reynolds and Nate Worth from Snarky Puppy on there, and then just there's a whole cast of amazing musicians that are were gracious enough to join us on the record.
All right. Now how did that come about? Did you play with before them or something or?
Um, Bill is really tight with them. He's really good friends with them, and just like kind of sent them the record and was like, "Hey, this is this thing I've been working on," and they were, thankfully they seemed into it and were agreeable to bless us with their beautiful sounds. Um, and everyone else on the record is just like, it's kind of just like we just wanted to get a bunch of our friends on there. So that's kind of
Right.
how a lot of the special guests came about.
Right. So this is going to be you sent them a finished mix and said, "Hey, can you add something to this?"
More or less, yeah. It wasn't necessarily a finished mix, but definitely like we kind of had the skeleton of the tune written, and then we were just thinking like, oh man, this would sound great with like Chris Bullock playing sax over it or whatever. So that was pretty much how the process worked.
And it's six new tunes and then a few reworked tunes.
Exactly. Yep. So there's 6 like fully original tunes, and then one thing we like to do is just like we don't like to play covers like just straight covers. I mean, we definitely try to like honor the parts of the song that make it cool, but we just always try to put our spin on everything. So we have an arrangement of this tune called Dynamite it was made by this guy named King Floyd, who's like a super old like R&B soul artist, and kind of was notably covered by Jerry Garcia with Legion of Mary. So we have that one, and then Always There, which is this old like smooth jazz tune that I just had always loved, and yeah.
There you go. So what is the process? Are you the sole songwriter, or is it more collaborative?
It's very cool. Yeah, I'm definitely not the sole songwriter. Like basically how we came up with that album was we would just get together. Bill owns a great studio in Winston-Salem called Ovation Sound, and we would just kind of get together there and literally just workshop ideas. Like, we would, just like the night before we hit the road for a run or something, we would just get up at the studio and someone would have an idea and we would just play around with it until we had a product that we felt good about. And it's like what I love about that band is that it's just like everyone in the band is like such a powerful creative force. So it's like there's always an idea coming from somewhere, and like some of the parts of the songs we even created like during sound checks at shows and stuff. Like, we just always like whenever we're together, we just try to stay creative and make something cool. And that's honestly how a lot of our music comes about, is like just through spontaneous like exploring and just a group creative energy.
If you are enjoying All That Jam, please like and subscribe to our social media channels at All That Jam Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or visit our website, allthatjampod.com. Make sure to sign up for our email list and tune in every week for new episodes.
Also, look for full interviews on our YouTube channel. And remember, stay beautiful, but don't stay underground too long.